with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Williams, would you lead us in prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, be with us today, Father, as we do the business of Mills County. Father, bless each and every one of us here today and bless this county. Father, be with us in all that we do. Father, bless our county with some more rain and the whole state of Texas. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, yeah, everybody but you.
Okay. Now, Star needs rain too. Well, present in the courtroom, besides the county judge, we have Commissioners Wright, Guerin, Parton, and Williams. That's all of the court, and we have a legally convened meeting in a quorum. Also present in the courtroom, we have the county treasurer and the county clerk. The meeting is being live streamed and recorded. So let's start with item 2 on the agenda, which is review of the minutes of August 8th, our last meeting. Has the court had the opportunity to review the minutes? And if so, were there any corrections, clarifications, or comments?
I saw none, Judge, so I make the motion that we approve the minutes as written.
We have a motion from Commissioner Williams to approve the minutes as written. Is there a second? Second from Commissioner Guerin. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we have approved the minutes of August 8th. Audience with individuals. Okay, we have no one that signed up to speak, so we will pass that item. 4, consider an act on approving accounts payable. With meeting weekly this month, we get a little ahead of payables sometimes, so I believe there's only one item in the report.
I make a motion to approve the count.
We have a motion from Commissioner Williams to approve accounts payable. Is there a second from Commissioner Parton? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I'm just thinking we need to approve the elevator.
Yeah, that's the elevator inspection. Something we want to pay for. The number 5 is the let's carry over the monthly reports that were not in the package last week. We have a report from the county extension office and the sheriff's office. On the extension office report from Tom Guthrie, you can see it's about 1,200 miles traveled during the month. Most of it was San Angelo and a meeting in South Padre Island. Plans this month are the Sheep and Goat Expo and a state conference and kicking off 4-H for the year. One thing Mr. Guthrie mentioned to me Friday is the extension office at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has proposed an agreement with every county, and it'll be in next week's agenda. Basically acknowledging the presence of an extension agent in the county, committing that he is an employee of AgriLife, but the county provides an office space for him. And it will include him and his functions in its annual budget considerations, which we do and have always done, but they're trying to formalize it, and you'll see it next month. The second monthly report is from the sheriff's office. It's missed last month. You can see calls for service, 255, with 60 of those for EMS. Service calls typically have averaged over time around 300 a month, with EMS calls running around 60. So this is not too far out of line. You can see arrest, new cases, jail bookings, civil process. We talked about the civil process fees last meeting. There's 19 processes served during the month. And then the prisoner billing of 12,300, with Coyle County being almost 8,000 of that, the balance Hamilton and Bell counties. So those are the trailing departmental reports. Is there a motion for acceptance?
I'll move to accept those reports.
We have a motion from Commissioner Guerin to accept the reports and a second from Commissioner Williams. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next item, number 6. Consider an act declaring a 2,000-gallon homemade water tank as surplus. This is a precinct 4 issue, Commissioner Williams. Would you like to speak to it?
The last 2 or 3 years, we've patched on this thing and patched on it, and we were using it a couple of weeks ago, and the whole bottom basically fell out, and it's paper thin. And so we're gonna declare it as surplus and try to sell it at Cowboys auction. Maybe if somebody wants to repair it, they're sure welcome to, but we've coated the inside and everything else. I don't know what else, much more to do besides cut it completely out about 6 inches and start back over to go. I think we're actually going to talk about maybe water trucks and water, stuff in the budget here in a minute. So that's why I'm going to declare it surplus. Any questions?
Yeah, we'll look at it. What's your water tomorrow?
And then what I want
The feed the water out. Got anything put on them there?
I would say you could. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a gravity flow.
I guess I haven't been on them bringing on the Cowboys.
Is the proposal to declare both the tank and the watering device surplus?
Yeah, it's all connected to it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all one piece right now. If you wanted to take that watering device off, you'd have to cut it off on the boards.
Any questions for Commissioner Williams or discussion?
I make a motion that we declare homemade water tank as surplus.
And you would propose to put it in the auction live?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Williams to declare the metal water tank as surplus and sell at auction. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Guerin. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Budget workshops. This is our last budget workshop ahead of the public hearing. Just want to remind the court that next Monday, which is the 22nd, we have advertised a public hearing on the budget as provided by law. So there's no voting on a budget until after a public hearing. After the public hearing, the court may choose to vote on the budget or may defer it further, but the order is what has to be public hearing, vote on the budget, then vote on the tax rate. That's the steps in the order it has to occur in. So the portions of the budget we haven't discussed in court so far, this is the last workshop, are the county district clerk office, the tax assessor collector office, and the various precincts and road and bridge budget. I propose we just take them in the order they're listed on the agenda. The first item is the county district clerk office. The material is in your budget notebook. It is basically as submitted by the county district clerk, and I'll invite Ms. Scott to speak to it. I'll give you the highlights. They're anticipating continued increases in port volumes. There's a proposal, this is the only one in the county, to add an FTE in the department. So if you look at the deputy clerk salary going from 37 to 77. That's basically one FTE. And that has a ripple effect through the benefit lines and the withholding. And everything else is, I would represent to you is fairly standard, year over year. So with that, Ms. Scott, is there anything you would like to add?
I'd like to know if you have any questions.
Okay. So court, that's my summary. Ms. Scott's here to address it. And I've been over this and would recommend it.
Julie gonna be your full time?
Yes, no, Julie's not gonna go full time.
You got somebody else in mind?
No, we post for the position and interview and hire.
Okay,
I just came from an election law seminar, just the mandates that are coming down with elections are really taking more and more of our time.
Yeah.
And those are state mandates, and I know unfunded mandates, but it is a lot more time. As you've already heard Cody McLaurin come through and talk about the increased volume of needs that are coming through. The courts are trying to catch up from COVID and the lag we've seen there. We're just staying extremely busy, and I don't want to see us get any further behind.
well, I know you need help.
So on school and training, you've got up about $1,000. Is that gonna be enough to train a new employee and stuff, or is that?
Probably, a lot of the training at first will be in the house.
Okay.
Usually I have my continuing education hours, and I've sent Joy this year. And so the new one will go as well, but there are some more regional trainings. They're just one day, so you don't have hotel, you don't have the big costs and things like that.
Just double checking there.
No, I appreciate it.
And postage is due to,
It's one of the in October. It's up to 57 cents now, because it's the court's increase. We are sending out more notices. We can't do things electronically on a lot of these things. If we can send it electronic and not mail it, we try to. But when you're sending someone a certified copy of their indictment, which when you have more court activity, you're gonna have more correspondence going back and forth.
And every time you summon a jury pool, it's 300 or more.
well, the only other question I have, Judge, is election expense. We've got it budgeted for 21-22 is 30,000. Actual this year is 38, but we're still budgeting 30,000. Is this some anomaly for a year to be that much more, or?
We
Well-
still have a payment outstanding from the state, so we've not been reimbursed yet for our primaries. So the primary and the runoff that happened, the state pays for a portion of that. And the deadline is, I think, August 25th, 26th. The deadline's coming up, and so I'm expecting payment after that. I'm hoping to get payment for October 1.
And that will bring that back
That will
down.
bring that back
Right.
down.
And what we've got, like, in the current year, we had primaries, we had runoffs, and we had special election. And what we've got coming up in the, who knows what will happen in the future, but what's on the calendar is just the November general election. So we should have slightly less election activity in this budget year, absent the legislature doing something.
Okay.
Any other questions on the clerk's budget? It's not a budget item, but I do want to mention that there's discussion of consolidating voter registration from vehicle registration into election administration in the clerk's office for convenience purposes. It's a non-budget item. It requires some lots of cooperation between tax assessor and clerk, but it wanted the court to know that it was under consideration.
See that when I first come on, Ms. Roberts had that, didn't she, Jed? Didn't she used to do that? Beulah Roberts?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
she was the clerk.
Yeah.
And then Carolyn didn't. So it has been in that office before is what I'm saying.
What we're hearing out of this serve and the training we're going to, is the state is going to be moving, and I think Lori and I already discussed this, the state is moving towards more an election administrator position. It's not required at this time, but the trainings we're going to, that's what we're hearing, is that they're going to be moving counties to have an EA position.
The election administrator is a required position in counties with a certain level of population. I'm not positive. I think it might be 8,000.
I don't remember what the population drop was.
But, you know, every election,
They're saying that they wanted a full-time employee or a part-time
I
employee,
don't
or
know.
how that's.
it just has to be designated.
I haven't seen what the law is gonna look like yet, but as in 2023 will be when the legislature meets again. And I'm hearing that that is going to be one of the topics.
That's next year.
Yeah, that's January. Well, let's move on and discuss the tax assessor collector's budget. And Ms. King, if you want to speak to it, if you'd come up and where we could get you on a microphone. The budget is in your package. It's page number 10 in the printout. So it may be somewhere else in your notebook. The
Page 11, right?
page 11,
Yeah.
okay. The budget is, I mean, when it first came in, there was some software in it. There was some salary increase. What's been in the proposed budget, however, and at Ms. King's agreement, the software, which is voter registration software, is out. The salary increase is what we're doing county standard of $1.20 an hour. And although the request had been that plus some, and other than that, it's about the same as last year. Ms. King, did I? Oh, there, I'm sorry. I can't see well, Lori. Would you care to elaborate on any of that? Okay. Are there, I'm sure she's available to answer questions. I know Lori's recovering from some surgery and her voice is a little difficult. So keep that in mind.
So your postage, her postage is going up and your postage is going down. It's just because you won't be doing out many mailings or what? Why is it going down? With the state requiring so much.
Every 2 years, we do a mass mailing voter registration. And that was in last year's budget. It won't be accounted for in this year's budget. It's that. It's increase.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. King? Okay, thank you, Ms. King. So then we've got the precinct budgets, and the budget reports are in your notebook, but I put a handout in here to try to compare what I consider the big ticket items and some color. And to me, the big ticket items in the precincts are equipment, repairs and supplies, road material, and fuel and oil, although it's all fair game to talk about. And so on the handout, I put in a summary from the budget showing the equipment expense actual through July. So that's 10 months by precinct and road and bridge. The budget for the current year, and then what's proposed in next year's budget. And below that, I've tried to list my notes from the discussions with each precinct on what's behind the equipment numbers. For instance, what I had, precinct 1 needs a service truck. Precinct 2, there was actually no request, but with a commissioner change there, I just in the preliminary, put $5,000 in for a contingency. Precinct 3, a service truck and a truck mounted water tank. And probably the thing to note is the difference between the precinct 1 service truck amount, the precinct 3 service truck amount. And then precinct 4 has a commissioner's pickup, a toolbox, and then rental costs put into the equipment line to try a limb chipper on skid steer. And then in road and bridge, there's a number, and that will ultimately be up to commissioners. But I thought, depending on how some of the tests came out in precinct 4, we should consider an additional brush cutter or replacement brush cutter, because the one we're having, I get reports of problems all the time, or a skid steer chipper and or a water truck, depending on the needs of the commissioners. And then, just for information, at the bottom of the page, there's a table of the existing vehicles. This isn't the dump trucks and the motor graders, the backhoes. This is the pickups and the service trucks in each precinct, the age and the approximate mileage. So that's how the equipment numbers line up in the proposed budget. And then on the second page, you'll see repairs and supplies, the same format, but without the explanation, road materials, and fuel and oil. And with that, this is really y'all's budget. So let me just throw it open for discussion at this point.
On precinct 1, on the 2009 Ford Super Duty pickup, I requested the 30,000 in equipment, or 35,000. That's why I'm doing paper there. It shows 124,000 miles. That's the third motor that's been put in that vehicle.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's correct on the mileage or not, but that's close as I can get to it.
Do you think the 35,000, you can get one for
That
that?
was gonna be my question.
I doubt it.
What should it be?
I think it should be closer to what Dale's looking at, maybe 50 or 55. But I don't know. Have y'all, either one of y'all priced any of them?
Well, I didn't have any in my budget in 2 years, so I just put something in there. So I can find a second amendment and try to. That's when I put the 35,000.
So you haven't researched any of them, is what you're telling me?
I did.
Well,
I know the 60,000, they run about 60,000, but I thought maybe I could use some of my road materials and push it over where I can buy it. So the precinct vehicle, it's been in trouble for a couple of years. We spent a lot of money on it and still it's in trouble, but I'll try to make it last another year if I can. But the service pickup has to be, I have to get something for it.
Commissioner Parton, was there some research behind the $50,000 price on a service truck?
I just figured used wise to get something with the bed that we have and the weight that we carry, because we've got a 100-gallon fuel tank, air compressor, all the tools. It's gonna take at least a ton and a quarter pickup. I don't even know that at one time, but I would be looking in the used sector, through all companies or something like that, that it was letting something go, but I just figured that 45 to 50 to get something. But also on ours, the 2006 is the service truck, and it's the one with over 300,000 miles on it. The 2006 Ford is Spark Bell, I didn't do that. The 2006, the bottom one listed, is the one that has over 300,000. The 98 is the pickup we call Crawford. That all we do is spray with that. The 2016 has roughly 120,000 miles. I mean, we're not having any issues with that truck.
Well, I mean, based on that, and assuming you don't object, Commissioner Wright, we ought to change that 35 to 50.
It'll be fine.
And unless pickups go down, I don't think you're gonna find something that's suitable for what I mean, what you're gonna end up getting for 35 is gonna be 300,000, 200,000 miles, and so.
Well, that's why we just increased
Yeah,
it. So
I think that's a good.
but we'll,
I may be wrong, but I really think that there's some of these auctions and you can be buying problems. You know, but if you start looking, to me, service truck wise, the new truck route. It's not gonna happen.
Here's the problem, buy board, you know, anything over 50,000, we gotta go out for bids. And so, buy boards and stuff like that don't do used vehicles. So you'll have to go out for the bid purposes directly in the newspaper or something.
But as far as the other, 5 or whatever that we had listed, the poly water tank that we're looking at, I checked on that last year and it's right at $5,000. And then you're gonna have to set it up, you know, with a water barn.
That's why I'm trying to get my solar pickup. I was gonna use the bed off of it, for everything. You set it back on the bed and bed it down.
So I know, Mike, you bought a lot of road material here lately. Is that 12,000? That's actual right now till June, is that correct? Or is it, you spent more than that, haven't you? Okay. You just have
that was, I think, through July, but that's just bills that have been paid through the treasurer's office. So there's a lag.
It shows on my expenses on precinct 1 for 10 months. I didn't spend anything
On materials.
You mean on your budget analysis?
I don't understand that, but like I'm saying, on repairs and supplies, I know I spend money, but I don't know.
Well, you know, this is something I put together and I could have fat fingered or got it on the wrong line.
It was, you know, kind of like equipment in precinct 1 for 10 months, 0. The budget, I had 0. And the proposed budget, I put 35. And the 50 is fine, so I only moved to 50.
Ms. Campbell, what do you show, or do you have access to the road material?
The expenses that show repairs and supplies show $0 for 21 months. I haven't spent anything. And I know I don't have any money in repairs and supplies right now. I'm using 21,000 that was put in my account to repair the building. Well, I don't know.
Well,
Materials is about 12,000.
Yeah, 12,000.
So that is correct.
Yeah. Office, the repairs and supplies and spent.
Repairs and supplies on expenses is 0. It's not.
Yeah, but it does show a budgeted amount.
Well, yeah, budgeted 18,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's what the budget that I've spent. It should have some money there that I've spent. I don't know why I didn't. It has the road material, 12,617, correct?
Yeah.
Or
It shows that the budget amount shows that you spent $5,368.73 over, but then you got money from the insurance
that is correct.
and that put it back up.
Well, I spent something, have I not?
And there's bonds. I don't know if you gave their mom.
Some have.
Well, if this summary is confusing to people, let's just work from the actual financial sheets in your notes.
Sure.
I'm looking at the budget analysis.
Okay, good.
And that one's confusing because when you get insurance money like that within the fiscal year, it goes back into the expense line and not a revenue line. That's why you have to do additional 21,000.
Yeah.
Plus every other.
But that was just, when was that put in the account?
That was- We can put it in there, Gene. It was negative.
Well,
That is confusing, good, but like I say, Here's money.
Well, let's focus on the proposed budget. Everything else is meant for historical perspective. So you can see, for instance, just on repairs and supplies, every precinct is budgeting between 18 and 25,000. On road materials, the variance goes from 15,000 to 50,000. And on the fuel and oil, the precincts are budgeting 25 to 30. So those are the decisions the issues to address today is, are those numbers going to work? Or should there be something else?
Well, only other question I have for Mike is on his fuel. He's going to 35. And that's doubling what he's done this year. I mean, everybody else is not going quite that high.
What's
Do you
the
have any
basis? for the-
special projects that you're planning to do or something that's gonna make
Yeah,
that?
I've got if it ever rains, I've got a lot of material, but I didn't. Excuse me, the cost of fuel. I've been budgeting on fuel and all,
Okay.
20,000 or actually about 18,000.
Well, it looks like you've budgeted 20 and you've spent 17 and change through 10 months. Yeah.
Actual experience is, last year was 18,000, I said it done. So. In the present time. I'm gonna have to move money over into fuel, I'm already out of money.
I think that's in everybody's.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be more than
So where do you think you'll end up this year?
it, I don't know, I've got. Probably one more load coming, it's gonna be around 5,000. So it'll be real close to what I budgeted, 2020. Or this year's budget, next year's budget, we went up 15,000. With the cost of it, I don't know what the cost is gonna be.
Well, one thing we do know is it'll probably be about the same for each precinct.
Sure. I'm sure it will be. Well, some a little bit more than others.
Yeah, well, precinct 3 has the most road mileage.
His budget is what, 50?
30.
30.
Yeah. You know,
And if you want to move out mine down to 30, that's fine. No problem.
okay. Yeah, it's a guesstimate.
I projected ours and that was at when we were doing that at the current price. We use about 6,000 gallons of diesel a year and I just projected it at $5 a gallon because we haven't paid 5 yet, but I'm above budget. We'll have to get fuel one more time before the end of the year. But we're also hauling that two plus miles of road out of our, out of our fuel, precinct fuel, not the road and bridge stuff.
How much have you spent on road and bridge on fuel?
I haven't spent
I
any.
don't think we budgeted
There's not
anything in
a
the road
budget.
and bridge.
I knew it wasn't supposed to. I feel what decided.
Now, on speaking of road and bridge, notice, the repairs and supplies, that's because we have some equipment in road and bridge. I'd call my road and bridge experiment last year a failure. There's no road and bridge budget in materials. And the same thing, there's none again in fuel and oil. I did leave $100,000 in road and bridge equipment because the court seemed fairly effective on finding and sharing equipment. So I thought, okay, that part worked, we'll keep that going. So that's the rationale behind the numbers in the road and bridge budget.
Now, the 25,000 that we're hauling now was approved out of road and bridge,
out of materials.
yes.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have any bills on it. Yeah,
It'll come out, so that was mine.
that was yours.
Yeah, that 96 was mine.
And so.
And so you'll
pass there.
Well, the question then might be, given that we're not, there's no, either do we need to budget road and bridge material, or assuming none, are the precinct material budgets adequate with a no road and bridge material contribution?
I think we can try this, because everybody added to their material budget. I think, I don't know what everybody else is thinking, but
Well, precinct 4 did, precinct 3 did not. There's more in 2, and there's a little more in 1, not materially different. No, it's less actually.
I can say with our current, I mean, we're probably not gonna go through the total 50,000 this year, but it's because we're hauling 25,000 out of the road and bridge, and we're probably gonna go 40,000, maybe 42.5 out of the 50, that we budgeted. But with what we've got set up hauling capacity now, as opposed to past year, we could and everybody could haul a lot more material. I mean, because every belly dump, you're looking at a 20 yards at 9, 2 or 22 yards at 9, you're looking at $200 per load. Well, it's very easy to haul one truck to haul 5 loads a day, so you can haul. If you were hauling, you could haul $1,000 worth of dirt a day.
not counting fuel.
Yeah, I mean, but that could affect, I don't know who all feels like they need to haul dirt. I feel like we do, but being able to do that as opposed to smaller dump trucks, you could haul more dollars worth of dirt in a year's time.
Well,
I would hate to see it come out of the road and bridge, because I think we're gonna end up with 2.5 to maybe even shoving 3 miles on that $25,000 worth of road and bridge material.
well, just so I understand you, are you suggesting we budget material in road and bridge? Or are you suggesting we take that 25,000 and put it in the precinct 3 material budget?
You're saying borrowing the 25 in this fiscal budget, right?
Right.
We will
Yes, we
use,
just haven't received the invoice yet. It's coming out of road and bridge. Road material this fiscal year.
it wouldn't matter to me. I think 100,000 for the county overall would leave it a little more open. Who needs to do what? Because if we put the extra 25,000 in precinct 3, that's kind of close it off for the other precincts.
The only reason I took it out is when we were doing the preliminary budget, it looked at that point in time, we'd spent almost none of it. So it just didn't look like it was appropriate if that's not the case.
And then also we have, I guess, Jed, as your concrete work. And we have our concrete work that's supposed to be done in this fiscal budget.
Mhm.
So
Is it
that's
gonna
a-
get done?
Well, we're hoping. We're not quitting.
You got 30 days.
45, come on,
45.
give us a break. But that's out that same, or was there other money for that?
That would come out of road improvements.
Road improvement?
Yeah.
So I
So
guess
those-
that
those-
would be the only 50,000 out of there, or basically 50,000.
Where is the road improvements?
Under road and bridge, on page 28. Page
And
20.
that's what there are 2 special projects that come out.
Yeah, it's under that, road improvements, 318, line 318.
Again, the road improvements, on a normal year, I guess it's got a back's kind of up against the wall, but on a normal year, you probably wouldn't want to do a concrete project in the springtime. This year, we could have done concrete projects all year long.
But they had built some roads up there too.
It's been tough.
Okay, so what's the consensus of the court? Put money back in road and bridge on materials?
I personally think, yes.
Okay,
Oh, what if we just put 50 in there and that'd be a backup for anybody instead of 100?
That's fine.
That's
Okay.
y'all.
I think that'd be plenty,
Yeah.
50,000.
That'd be, got that, Judge?
got it.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so we went over Mike's.
Yeah. Before we go further on the equipment, on the road and bridge, you got 255,000 in the proposed,
no,
is that correct?
I thought I had
Thought it was 100.
I thought it was 100.
It's 100.
Okay.
314 is the item number.
And that's the same we had this year. I don't know where we are this red hot minute, but through 10 months, we'd done 60,000.
We're about,
Yeah,
we're about 90.
Yeah, we're at 90.
So it's being spent. We've talked about it in court as it's done, and it seems to be productively being employed. So I just continued last year's number.
Okay. Don't have anything else to move.
Mr. Garrett?
Question, I've got one question. On the proposed budget, it shows the income totals and your expense total. So,
For each department and for the county, and yeah,
okay, so theoretically, the income total is what balances out your budget.
I'm not sure I understand the question. The income
My
total
budget is 265,000 plus
of expense.
expenses.
Okay,
The income totals is 334.
Projected, yes.
let me see if Ms. Campbell can weigh in on this, but what we did there, the income into each precinct has a number of components.
Sure.
For one thing is a general fund transfer, and I don't think there's any of that this year. There's stuff from vehicle registration. Registration, overweights, all those are in each precinct. And there's the road and bridge tax, which is in there based on the miles in each precinct. So those are the components of the revenue. And so it's possible that you have more revenue coming into the precinct this year. Now, the thing to remember on that road and bridge tax is it is also affected by that windfall. So that number, from the county is going to go down next year by about $800,000. I haven't focused on how that flows down to each precinct.
Yes, sir.
But so it's like every precinct should show more revenue this year than they did last year, or they will next year.
Right. Well, if I increase my budget, would that affect a tax rate or affect anything? In most of the other budgets, if you'll notice, our income and our expenses are pretty close.
Let me look at that.
Now, I'm going to like you're saying, income total, 330 on proposed,
322.
322. I'll keep it down. 171. In 3 years, it's been on 265, and I raised, and so, close 334. Correct.
Precinct three's income is 368. And expense is 367.
Well, do that tomorrow.
Do I don't?
Your equipment line should be small, here to everybody else.
Right.
Or material.
Well, that's my only concern is the equipment line. I mean, if this is the year that we're talking about, during an excess year of funding, and we want to help our infrastructure, maybe that equipment line needs to be a little bit more.
In precinct 2,
Yes, that 5,000.
Precinct four is 354, expenses 354 income.
But we're talking equipment on,
So that's 69,000.
yes. On the equipment too, but, big thing. On yours is $5,000, and precinct 3 is 60,000.
well, there are a couple of things. I mean, if I'm just looking at a few precincts, and I am seeing a general fund transfer in the budget of $10,000. So we should kill that. We'll pull that out. That we do that to keep things from going negative. So we take that out of the budget, and then we could budget some equipment in precinct 2, but this is the budget you turned in. I mean,
Right.
so yeah,
What I was saying, that was my question. There's a big difference for 69,000
yeah.
between the income and the expense.
Will be 59 when we take out the
Yeah, we'll
10,000,
see.
but yeah. Okay. We'll
So
put in
your
50,000
your
of
recommendation is
equipment,
you want more for equipment?
Put in 50 of equipment.
Yeah.
Put in what? I'll give you
50.
And so
Yes, yeah,
Will it be 55, but there's 5 already in. Right?
yeah.
on this total 50.
Total 50 or 55?
That's what I'm asking.
I'm indifferent.
Sorry.
I said I am indifferent on,
Me too. Whatever.
because the 5 was a plug number.
Right.
You had 0. Let's just make it 50.
Let's just
Because
make,
that will match what several of the other precincts are doing. That's where we're going with precinct 1, and that's, I think, the service truck estimate in precinct 3.
Okay.
That's all they'll with the cost and stuff now, if you was to even go look at any heavy piece of equipment or a precinct, 50 ain't gonna get it done. So, 5, sure.
well, I mean, I didn't know if Jed, what I was thinking of on equipment, you might want a nice bed to go on that new truck that you got, equipment bed type thing. And so that might be one purchase that you might, but I didn't think 5,000 would get it, so
That's about what one cost.
I hadn't looked it up. Summer on precincts, 3 is there, or precinct 2, I'm sorry, page 19. Why is the miscellaneous expense number like that? No, on actuals, 5,200.
Actual expense through June is $5,213.99. And then 500.
Yeah.
It's put that way and maybe he's doing one time transfers.
You see what I'm saying there, everybody?
That's where we put that donation.
Yeah, that
That donation.
that was a negative, so that would have been an income.
Gotcha.
Right.
You
Forgot
got
about that.
some money out there when you bought that pickup.
It's just like the insurance, I guess, is what she was saying over there. Okay, got it.
Yeah, there's a couple, several variables I just want to point through. I mean, we're talking about revenue, expenses. The last piece is the fund balances, and the treasurer and I and Charles Miles have been working on this. That the budget has to project the fund balance in each one of our many funds at the end of September, and then where it will be at the end of September next year. That's a required disclosure. And obviously, the goal is the fund balances don't go negative. And so traditionally, in the last month of the year, the court has looked at line item transfers to make sure, you know, if we're over in fuel and under in materials and one precinct, the money gets moved around so nothing goes negative. Once we get done with the budget, I propose we do that in early September, as soon as we get the August reports out and try and square things up. And we're trying to, that's causing a few problems right now as we're projecting through the end of the budget because those transfers haven't been made. And so things are looking negative now. And then if we balanced budget, it gets negative again next year. So we're going,
Ms. Campbell, I visited her about mine and she suggested the 29th, I come in and.
Okay.
That's what I plan on
Yeah.
doing.
In the first session of September, that helps me close out my year last year.
yeah, I mean, if just the first run, I mean, we were showing negative balances in precinct 3, and in the sheriff's forfeiture fund and the court fund. But that's without the last 2 months of activity, that's without transfers. And we've got to get that down to 0 before we file a final budget.
That's all the questions I have for Jim.
You got any questions for anybody else?
Yeah.
Well, just the way you said. Commissioner Parkin, anything you'd like to?
I guess a lot of it, I mean, I think we've got ours covered. We're over on fuel right now, but that's, well, I probably have to pull some money off the material, you know, to cover our fuel deficit. But I think that's on close.
What's the phone and utilities expense jumping up so much for? You getting internet at your cabin that you want?
How much electric?
See, I have 25, but I have internet with mine. Everybody else is at 15.
Yeah, and you pay for water too.
Well, we pay $340 a year for water.
So you're over, then we got the last 2 months, 2,000, yeah, that's my word. I just double checking, it just got on. Well, your mini budget, you're not over, you just put 25 on it.
I could just have 3 months left. I don't even know what it runs from. I don't even see that,
It comes on your payable.
you know. But also ours, I guess, is the only, not that ours is the only one that comes from Comanche County. And by the, I don't know if there's a rate difference or not. And that's the only other thing we're over on is the fuel.
Yeah. Fuel's the big issue that's considered going to cause all precincts, and we're just going to have to adjust that in end of August. Well, if there any other discussion on the budget discussion before we move on to the EMS project.
About 4. You let him.
So for, the only couple of things that I kind of wanted to mention to you guys and see what y'all, I know we're not talking about, I mean, it's not on the agenda to purchase, but so I've got money left over from that maintainer. And Judge, you talked about it earlier about purchasing a water truck or something like that. There is enough money in there to purchase a water truck this year out of that. There is probably enough money to purchase, if somebody wanted to or something like that, help with a service truck or something, but there's extra money sitting there that the court approved of last year.
But can you move it from precinct to precinct?
Well, if we buy it and make it instead of just making it a precinct, like the water truck, it'd just be a county. Just like it is a road and bridge equipment. You see what I'm saying?
You know, only bad part about it, like I'm saying, when you come down to repairs and that thing.
Well, it'll have to be put in road and bridge. I mean, if we buy,
Yeah.
precinct would be buying it out of their money, but next year we put the repairs and stuff under that road and bridge.
We could do that, but we'll need to,
Well, I'll have to put that on the
Yeah.
agenda and bring it to the court, but there's that money left over, but the 55 there is for a new truck for me personally to drive, and hopefully it'll make the next year without being rolled over like the other one. So
training wheels on.
training wheels on the side of it and stuff like that.
Well, didn't you talk at one point about, I don't know if you did or not, to possible the two pickups?
Yeah, that's in
Two commissioner trucks or something.
Well, when I roll this out, that my plan was to get at least 2 trucks replaced in the precincts.
Whether they're service trucks.
Yeah, to me, it's a truck, but it's whatever. So in our budget now, we've got 2 service trucks and 1 commissioner's pickup. So that's a total of 3.
Again, the rest of my budget is I'm over a little bit in tires, but a lot of that had to do with doing that haul job out at Regency on County Road 4. We had to replace 2 tires right there, and it jumped it up $900 real quick. So that I wasn't expecting that on tires. That's the reason it's over. But road materials, got a little bit left over, but I still have not got a bill. I still got a couple bills outstanding that I having a hard time getting invoices.
But do you need to increase your tires because we've been over on?
No, I've got a lot in stock. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The maintainer guy's got all new tires on it, so shouldn't. Knock on wood. I'm just following Jed's. He's done really good with that when he got his new maintainer tires, but same things that go with me. The quickest is that service truck tires.
Are you supposed to do any kind of improvement on the material? You said road material is going up to 50,000.
Yeah, I just have to haul. I'm just having to buy every bit of mine now. I have no more pits. So I'm having to haul and get it and haul it a long ways. So, and it looks like everybody's going up to $9. Heath Hortz called me this week and he's going to 10. Siders or Stuart Peters is going up to 10. So I think your road materials are going to go up real fast.
But are you buying it local or are you buying it in Southern and Lampassett?
I've been buying it, well, for the 433 project, it was in San Saba. And all the rest of this year has been at McCoy's.
But you still have to complete that deal, you still got all some more out there, right?
433.
That's
that what you're
Agency Bridge.
Yeah, but I don't, but that pit's closed down now. Vulcan has supposedly bought that pit and they have shut it down. So if I'm gonna buy it, I'll have to buy it out of Vulcan, out of Brownwood, which is only 20 miles. And to Scott's pit is 27 miles.
That's about it.
Oh, they're $9. Yeah.
But when you did that PowerPoint deal, you had mile coverage. So y'all still have to do.
100 yards to get them to finish the mile. What we do, we put it thicker than in places than I probably should have, but It's good.
But you still have to finish that, this budget cycle. Right?
No, I don't have to finish this budget cycle. That was that project that we did.
Now, to spend the budgeted money in this year, it needs to get paid out of this year. But it
Yeah.
doesn't mean, I mean, if
It's
he
not
wants to
gonna
do it
happen
next
because
year.
I
out of
don't
next
have the
year's
truck.
budget.
Yeah. I don't have the trucks.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because before y'all even approved, or you had gotten overtime deal to haul on.
Yeah, but we only did 50 loads. On when I presented that and on that project, it was 50 loads, not a number of,
Oh, I thought it was miles.
no, it's 50 loads total or whatever it would get. And I was predicting a mile and it was 100 yards short of a mile.
Do you all haul all of your material, or do you hire one?
Do what?
Do you haul all of your material yourself, or do you have it hired then?
I hired some of mine because none of the road hands would work to get it done, but Dale and I have been, I mean, he does all of his and I'm doing all mine now.
What about you, Mike?
Same way, and haul it on myself. I don't know about Jared, how he, I'm sure what it is.
We dig it out of the ground, we don't buy it much from anybody.
Yeah, I'm not judging, I don't have any pit, so all mine have been subdivided.
Anything else on talking about budget? Then let's talk about the EMS station project. This is a perennial update. Anybody have anything to add on it?
No, I haven't received word from the surveyor at this point.
I was hearing something Friday on the fencing, but I don't remember who was telling me, but it was like they could put in the new fence, but not take down the old fence till later, something along that line. Does anybody recall that?
Yeah, we just don't know when. Jay said that he could probably go put up the new fence since we're all using new wire and stuff. He said the T-post, he would just pull the T-post up, move them over and leave that other fence up until we were completely ready. But if we know where we're gonna put it, he said he'd work with us anyway we want to do it. So
We need to get the survey to make sure.
we need the
don't
survey to
do
get
it
the survey there
Yeah.
so that.
Okay.
And then if we go with the fence up in the exact where we're talking, I think, Stephanie, there might be 2 cars that we have to move. Pull them forward just a little bit. They're like the trunk of the cars are in the way, so. And one of them, of course, has flats.
Okay, and I'm still working with the county attorney on one of the certifications that TIP's requiring. I don't have an answer on that yet. So commissioners requesting reports, Commissioner Wright.
Working at the shop, we're working, pulling wire, and that guy's been a lot of help. And we've had the city down there too, we changed out all that, the main wire on that main pole. New meter base and disconnect, trying to change all the wiring on the inside of it also. And we got the building fixed with a standard that's done to it, we got the main beam put up, tied down all the sheet metal on the outside, and got the flashing in place, so it's all completed. That's all I have.
Commissioner Gearon.
We graded a few roads, we got enough more to grade some. Other than that, we've been cutting brush. The guy was had to out with the COVID back at work, so. That's about it.
Commissioner Parkin.
Right now, we're working on our hauling project, our 2 miles plus, as of Thursday, we are having to water stuff down pretty dramatically to get it put down. But we're at 1.3 miles after 2 weeks. I don't know if I reported it last week. We did go to Mullen or to Midland, pick up the truck. We got it back. We got the other trailer picked up. We are doing some wiring on that trailer so that no matter which truck you put on which belly dump, they'll all be connectable. So if something was to happen to one of the trucks or something, you just hook it up and go with it with whatever you have. So trying to make everything go together, but we're probably, they're supposed to blast again. We're probably gonna run out of material this week out at Scott's, and we won't have any more material until they get blasted and grinding again. So we're gonna haul while they got there.
Commissioner Williams.
We're taking some rub boards off that are getting really bad, just spot blading rub boards, that's it. Not doing the main roads, just trying to get ready for some of our roads are a little bit rough for school buses to go down. So working on that just a little bit. Tried the water, of course, I told you about the water truck fell in the tank. This week, we're gonna, if it's all right with you, Mike, we're gonna go and get our TxDOT material over there. And try to get it and get some approaches. Also, Thursday afternoon, I have a conference, or Thursday morning, I have a conference, but then Thursday afternoon, just let the court know I'll be out of pocket Thursday and Friday. My daughter's having surgery, so I will be out Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Other than that,
Dale's gotten his material, it's good out, Jay's got some of his, not all of it, he's got several of those, and yours is already ready to go.
I guess tomorrow is insurance day to remind all you commissioners on insurance. Someone needs, if y'all need to come by or holler at some or get your guys to do that or whatever they want to do. Open enrollment, that's what they call it, open enrollment. I guess that's it. That's all I have, Judge.
Okay, just a couple of things. I mentioned at the start with next Monday, public hearing on the budget. Then possibility with the agenda will list action on the budget and action on the tax rate. So that's next Monday. It's going to be one of those days. I think we also have a jury selection going on that Monday. So courthouse will be crowded, security will be high, and parking will be scarce. County judges report. The other thing I want to say is this Wednesday we'll be running an ad in the Eagle, the first of the required notices for the auction sale of the old EMS station. And it'll disclose the process and the reserve price. And it'll be the reserve prices as we discussed. It's the valuation in the MCAB on the property. We are disclosing that it's being sold without the portable building on the back end. The county will remove that for whatever.
We're in the process
Okay.
of doing that.
And but the sale itself is September 9th. So it's, you know, it's several weeks out, but we have to start the ad and run it every week for I think 3 weeks. That's it from me. I would like if law enforcement would hang around a minute, I'd like to talk to you guys briefly after the meeting. That's all I have. Is there a motion?
I mean, we adjourn.
We have
Second.
a